Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Welcome to Greatness TV. As you can see, everyone is laughing. Everyone is excited.
Yes.
This is a great time to be with the great lives here. So it's Dr. Patrick saying a founder of Greatness University and Greatness TV, and I have the pleasure to introduce my co-host, Sir Clyde Rivers. Sir Clyde Rivers is the godfather of world civility. So if you want to know anything about civility, then you need to go to Sir Rivers. There's no other person to introduce our amazing guest, the cultured professional, Dr. Johnny Vega. Thank you very much. Welcome to Greatness TV. Welcome to Great Lives on Sir Rivers. Please do introduce our amazing guest.
Ladies and gentlemen, a drum roll, please. We have Dr. Johnny Vega. Let me tell you something. He is a living example that it's possible to overcome challenges in life and do something phenomenal. This man, he gives me hope for the next generation. He's one of the most real voices of this hour as an activist, as an actual motivator. Johnny, just ever since I met you, my life has been enhanced, and I mean that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the great future leaders of the world in a big way. Johnny Vega, welcome to greatness.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Patrick, Dr. Rivers, Big Shizzle. It's an honor and privilege to be on the show, brothers. I'm looking forward to the conversation, and I pray that it's edifying to the people that hear it.
Yes, and let's start straight away. So, one of the things we've just been talking about actually is the cultured profession. Could you tell us about what this is about?
So, big shout out to Marquise Lupton, Brandon Way, and William Way. They had the foresight and motivation to start a network about 3 years ago. And it's called the Cultured Professional, TCP Network. And what we're doing is we're creating a new narrative when it comes to media. As you know, as Black and brown men, the media has highlighted nothing but negativity and put us pictured us in a bad way for far too long. So I've joined now. It's been about 6 months since I've been part of TCP, and it's been nothing but a beautiful experience because now we get the opportunity to reverse that and change the mindset of all the viewers that watch the TCP network. We're bringing positivity, motivation. We're showing that we're not what we've been depicted to be for far too long.
Yes. So what you do is you use the media to create a different culture.
Yes. The cultured professional. Yes.
Yes. So could you give us some of the facets, some of the elements of that cultured profession? What kind of people do we get into that network?
So right now we have about, I think, 13 podcasts, and my podcast is the Antidote. My podcast is the motivational podcast. We bring healing, hope, and inspiration to our viewers. But we have such a great variety of shows. We even have TCP in the Morning, which is our morning news show, which airs Mondays and Wednesdays. We have a cooking show with Chef Oliver. We have a show with couples. We pretty much we're like the Baskin Robbins of podcasts. We have different flavors. We have different. We have everything you need as far as a podcast. We have funny podcasts. We have a little bit of everything. You and I even talked about you becoming part of TCP, which will be phenomenal because our intentions are to become national and then eventually become international. So you would be a welcome member of TCP, Dr. Patrick.
Thank you so much for the honor and for the opportunity. I look forward to that amazing opportunity. But important, you talked about motivation.
Yes.
We're currently living in a moment where lots of people seems to be having low motivation,
right,
low morale, low energy because of the coronavirus pandemic, which has affected the whole globe.
The whole world.
So what are kind of the messages that you have on TPC or the cultured professional? What are the kind of the messages that you give to allow people to increase their hope on your podcast?
Well, I have a saying, and I always say it at the end of every show, and it's a simple saying. It's quitting is not an option. Whether it's the pandemic, whether it's social injustice, whether it's the things that have been going on for social distancing, whatever it may be, things are going to happen in life. Now,
Yes.
of course, the pandemic is something that we've never seen before, never gone through before, and we have to understand that. I try to look at things through a biblical eye.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that it says in the Bible is to count all things joy.
Yes.
Now, I know it's difficult. It's not going to be easy to count all things joy, but at the same time, you have to look at the silver lining in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, my family, I'm going to just give my family has gotten closer because of the pandemic. Why? Because now we were on lockdown. We had no choice but to spend time together. I'm pretty sure you're a busy man. Before the pandemic, I was an extremely busy man. But I tell people all the time to take this opportunity to reevaluate your life, reevaluate your priorities, because this pandemic took away a lot of things that we thought were important. But now that we look back as we're going through this situation, a lot of the things that were taken away from me personally, I don't want back. I don't want to go back. They say we're returning. This is the new norm.
Mm-hmm.
This is the new norm. This is how life is going to be for a long time. So
Yes.
get used to it, adapt to it, and make the best of it. Because it's no good to get depressed or develop anxiety over something you have absolutely no control over.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any control over a lot of the things that are going on right now. So just reevaluate your life, reevaluate your priorities, and move forward and make the best out of every situation.
Yes. Thanks so much for sharing that message. Because as you're sharing that message, I just remembered one of the podcasts, one of the messages you're talking about, being making a movement from a victim to being victorious.
Right.
And the important thing there, for example, most of the people at this moment in time, they feel they are victims of their circumstances.
Right.
And possibly, and as I did understand well, in your own life, you have been a victim.
Correct.
In your own life, you've taken the path from being a victim to victorious.
Right.
Could you chart us that journey, and then we as well be able to see step by step how we can make that transition?
Well, at some point in your life, you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm tired of being a victim, being taken advantage of. I'm tired of being patient. I'm tired of waiting for answers from other people. We're in a season now in the world where patience is not in the plan anymore. We need to make changes in the world. The changes need to start happening now. And like I said, it's time to go from victim to victorious. We have to win the race. It's not only about running the race. It's time to cross that finish line and win the race, and come together as a community, come together as Black and brown people. We're all from the same bloodline. And I explain that to people all the time. I don't care if you're from London. I don't care if you're from the United States, Puerto Rico. We all come from the same bloodline, and we have to start acting like we're family and not separate. They say to conquer something, you have to separate and conquer. So that's what they've been doing for the past over 400 years. Is they created a division between family, because you and I are brothers. So we need to start acting like brothers and uplift each other and start helping each other and coming together as one unit, one body. And once we do that, we'll be unstoppable, and the world will change right before our eyes.
So thanks so much for sharing that message. But at the same time, if you realize that, like at the moment, there are lots of things that may be going against us, against people, or some of our viewers, or the people will be viewing us at a later moment in time.
Right.
And how can we come out of that mindset that bad things are always going to happen to us?
Right.
Some things are not going to change, that things are going to move from better to worse.
Right.
For some people, when they, for example, they reach a moment of a tunnel vision, they can't see anything else than the bad they're focusing on, or what they might call misfortunes, what they might call injustice.
Right.
So how can they break that cycle?
Well, first and foremost, like I said, I try to look at things on a biblical or spiritual eye.
Yes.
So one of the things we have to do is get together and pray. We definitely have to pray, and we have to ask God for guidance. He's doing this for a reason, and we have to find out why. Like I said, things are going to happen in life. The system's been in place, systematic racism. There's been a system that's been put in place that was put in place not for us, but for against us. It's been a system. We have to understand and learn how this system works. And then once we learn how this system works, we have to create our own system. We have to
create one. We have to learn how the system works so that we can create our own system.
Exactly. It's like I tell kids all the time. I speak to kids and I explain to them that life is chess, not checkers. There's a big difference between chess and checkers. Chess is like the game of life. You have to stay 4 to 5 steps in front of your opponent. In front of your opponent. So that's what we need to do. Learn the system, create our own system so that we can combat what's been going on for hundreds of years and renew our minds and know that the past, a lot of the things that we learned in school, a lot of things that we learned in society were all lies. We're all lies. And just like the word says, it says history. It's his story. It's not our story. So it's time to create a new narrative and create our own story. And right now we're literally creating history every day that goes by. A new history, a new narrative, and we have to take advantage of that and rewrite it.
And actually, someone say that things may happen to us, things may happen within us.
Right.
What things may happen to us, things may happen around us. Of what matters is really what happens within us.
Right.
So we have to change the system. I have to start by changing myself.
Right. You got to renew the
mind. I can't just go out there trying to change other people when myself I'm not changed.
Exactly.
So in other words, when it comes to changing system, it is important that we as well realize and use our lives as examples.
And we have to lead by example.
Yes. What is possible.
Big shout out to the Godfather of Civility. He's leading by example. He's
Johnny Vega. Let me tell you something. Johnny Vega is when you hear this man speak, this is why, Dr. Patrick, the powerful thing we have to do, we have to create stages. When you put Dr. Vega on a stage and a platform, I'm telling you, the guy's wisdom, what he knows is I've heard him speak everywhere he speaks. He lifts everyone. And you know what? And he's the new generation. He's a new generation leader, and people follow. And you know, what can I say? What can I say about him? The wisdom that he understands about the next generation and the old generation. And as I say this, I'm telling you, he is truly a searcher. Our United Graduate College and Seminary education model is the one that gets the idea from God. This man lives it, is about it. And you know what? Let me tell you one of the most important things I saw about him is in adversity, he stands strong and he doesn't lose it. This is what most young people in the day of adversity, they faint.
Right.
This man answers the phone. It's ringing, 911, JV in the place to be. That's my boy.
Yes, and I think one of the reasons maybe actually Dr. Vega is very successful in what he does is being able to locate himself in the season. So could you talk to us about the seasons of life? Because some of us may still, for example, be living the pre-COVID season, but in reality, the season has moved on to another one. Right. Now we are moving towards the post-coronavirus season. So how important is it to recognize the season we're living in or the context we find ourselves in order to be successful, in order to be great?
Well, with this new season, this new time in history, like I said when we were speaking earlier, we have to realize that we all come from the same bloodline. We're all sisters. There's no reason for division anymore. They've been dividing us for hundreds of years just to keep us separate because they want to take the power from us. There's power in numbers. There's power in family. And we have to realize that this new season is time. It's time for the family to get together. It's time for a family reunion. It's time for us to realize that as Black and brown people, we're the majority. Why are we the majority and still letting our foe or our enemy take power from us? It's time through media. It's time through mentoring. It's time through any platform that we can take advantage of. We need to jump on that platform and rewrite history and rewrite the new narrative because we're in charge. If we don't do it, it's not going to get done.
Yeah, and you know what you're talking about, Johnny Big, you're talking about systems.
Right.
Systems. And what's happening is this is why what I love about the work we do with the civility humanitarians is this: we are creating our own stages.
Yes.
You see, part of the issue in the world is when you don't own number one, you're always somebody's son. Come on, JB.
What?
When you are the one, I mean, you can produce sons.
Wow.
So now we are stepping and we're establishing greatness universities. We're establishing TCP. Now we have the ability to bring our own narrative. We're not looking for sonship. We're looking for ownership.
Right. Amen. Amen. And just like you said, Dr. Patrick, it's a new season. And the light bulb just went into my head. And I'm from I live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's farmland. So every season you have to replant. So this is the season to replant. It says you reap what you sow. So we're the farmers, and the seeds that we plant now will create the harvest that we will reap in the future. So it's time to get our hands dirty, guys. It's time to get you got to go. In order to plant a seed, you have to get your hands dirty. And a lot of people for far too long were afraid to get their hands dirty. So it's time for us to get our hands dirty, dig into that soil, sow great seeds in good soil, and the harvest is going to be amazing.
Yes. And especially when you say about this has been a time for most families to be together. There are moments where before the COVID, people were living in the same room, or same house, but they didn't or hadn't knew each other.
Right.
Well, the coronavirus with the lockdown has made people more or closer to each other in that family unit.
Right.
And as you say, as we do the sowing, we're sowing the seeds. We're sowing those seeds not just within us as adults, but as well with our children, if we do have children, the people who are very close to us and we influence.
Right.
And whatever we're sowing in those children is what is going to come out 10, 20, 30 years from now. What they're learning during this season is they're going to produce in the coming years. So it's very important that when we are sowing, we think about what we are sowing in those lives.
Exactly.
Because they're the ones going to change the world for us. When we are very old, they'll be the ones controlling the system.
And another thing that the post-COVID or this new season has shown me personally, and I hope it's showing other people, is how important relationships are. Dr. Rivers, you and I are successful, our chemistry is great. Why? Because for the past 3 or 4 years, we've developed a relationship.
It's really good, Johnny.
So now that COVID stuck us in the house, we're with our significant others, our wives, our children. We started cultivating relationships again, and then now it's time to take it outside of the home. Now that we're allowed out again, and realize that we have to develop relationships in London, we have to develop relationships in Africa, we have to develop these relationships all over the world, cultivate these relationships, and make it happen.
Yeah, let me kind of interject something there. This week I was speaking with God, and He spoke to me, and He said, "Grow your initiative, grow it." And what He was saying to me is this: people spend so much time fighting that they don't grow what they have.
Wow.
Grow what you have. When you start to grow it, eventually you eat the whole field, and eventually the whole harvest is yours.
Right.
So I tell people, never be distracted by the noise. If you hear any noise, it's the boys.
We're coming.
And we have to grow our initiatives. We have to grow our Patrick. You have to grow Greatness University. Johnny, you have to grow TCP. I have to grow World Stability. And as we grow it, see the actual power is in are you growing? The power isn't in are you debating? No, debate. But hear this: make sure that you're growing, and eventually you'll eat the whole field.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
So it's very powerful, growing the initiatives, growing what we have, but at the same time using what we've got.
Right.
I do remember someone was telling of a story that an explorer went to Africa, and he found these two children. They were playing with the stones. Then the explorer said, "Could you give us the stones and we give you sweets?" So those children exchanged the stones. But little did they know that those stones were diamonds.
Wow.
So we might be sitting on diamond. We might be having diamond in our hands, in our minds, in our hearts. But we don't know.
That's good.
And
That's
someone else will take it away from us because we don't. We've been gifted in that way. We have those gifts. We have those diamonds. But how are we using them? How are we growing them?
Right.
To make impact in the world.
That's good. That's good. Like Dr. Rivers said, we have to take what we have, the initiatives that we have already created, and expand on them. And expand. The room is there. The opportunity is there. We have to take it now. But we can't miss the opportunity, like you said, Dr. Patrick, because either somebody else is going to do it or it's not going to get done. Now, God willing, if it doesn't get done through us, somebody else will do it, but it'll be a tragedy if it doesn't get done.
And and watch this, Dr. Vega and Dr. Businge. Never let people gaslight the moment. Man, stay in the moment. We're in a moment in America where transition is happening. Right. Never let people change the narrative.
Correct.
Stay focused on the actual change. They can bring up peripherals, and this is really happening all over the world. What this virus has done is it's created independence. And hear this: independence to people that are dependent is scary, right? Because their actual minds have been locked into the institution, and they have no creativity. Now I'm talking about all over the world. Now countries are not giving money anymore to help the poor.
Right.
So what does that mean? That means the institutional thinking of poverty has to stop looking from out and look within at the innovation.
Correct.
And this is where Greatness University, Dr. Patrick, Dr. Vegas, and myself, we're going to have the ability, because watch this here, the actual thinker always lives well in a crisis. The one that's institutionalized doesn't.
Right. Right.
Because the institutions become their God.
Correct.
And what happens is right now I'm creating more stuff every day. Johnny, you don't want to let the baptismal in the house. You want to keep me in, you don't want to keep me in the house. You don't want to keep Patrick Businge in the house or
right.
Johnny, because our minds start thinking.
Right.
Patrick, how many books have you written during this season?
3.
3 books.
Yes, 3 books.
If
there was no COVID, I wouldn't have written any.
You leave Professor Businge in the house.
Right.
That's dangerous. You leave Johnny TCP in the house.
Right.
Let's create the new narrative. And I want to share this. When you're creating a new narrative, no one has seen it before. So it's always fought by the old.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? But hear this, people. Keep painting the picture so it comes to sight one day.
Right.
Many people leave their vision too early because everyone couldn't see it in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, God won't allow people to see it while he's allowing you to narrate it.
Mm.
So narrate the vision, don't back away. And eventually, like I Changed Nations, when I first started, Dr. Vega and Dr. Patrick, people laughed. What are you doing? What is it? They laughed, but I kept hammering away. And now I have the world's largest culture of honor network in the world. As I call people for now, they're calling me for the awards.
Right.
I had to run them down at first. So what am I saying? I'm saying narrate your narrative and please hear this. Hone in on your number 1 because no one ever pays you for number 2.
Right.
Whatever you're doing, own the narrative, make it your number 1.
Right.
Leadership is looked at this way here. Leaders don't lead people. Leaders lead in the narrative and the people follow.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Makes sense.
And that's very, very powerful because anyone who is a great leader out there, they live a very narrow life.
Yes.
Right.
They live focused on one thing.
Yes.
Right. It's like driving just on that one lane. You can't divert them from there because the more you divert, the more you lose the followers.
Yes.
So, that is the path, then people can clearly see where you're going and they follow you. And that's what leadership is all about. It's not about managing them, do this within 2 hours and so on. It's about living your life. Because most great number of people are institutionalized. They think being a leader is being in charge of 50 or 100 or 2,000 people in your organization. That's not leadership. That's possible management. While a leader inspires, a leader leads with his life or her life.
Right.
A leader, people follow because actually the leader they don't even make themselves leaders. It's the people who are following who see that as their leader.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. It's easy, and I want to say it's easy, but the job of a leader is to inspire people. But on top of that, because the inspiration sometimes is temporary, it's a feeling. So what are we going to do once we inspire people? We can't leave them hanging. So a true leader inspires people, lifts them up, and then puts together an action plan.
Come on.
And that's what we're doing, guys. ICN, all the things that we're into and developed is the action plan. And that's why the narrative is going to be so powerful. That's why the history that we're going to rewrite is going to be so impactful on the world, is because not only did we inspire people, but we're going to lead them into the promised land.
Wow.
Amazing. And inspiring them really working out from their problems. Because we have Sir Rivers here, and he talks about I have a solution. We have a solution movement whereby he says we have 7.8 billion people in the world.
Right.
And each of the 7.8 billion people is a solution to a problem.
Exactly. That's why we need to put an end to all the injustice, our black and brown people being murdered, taken advantage of, because we're losing every person that is a victim and is murdered. We're losing a solution. that person might have a solution, even if it's just in their neighborhood or in their family. We're losing solutions every time we lose a person.
Indeed. So how can we get involved with the cultured professional? My viewers might be wishing to know more or get to connect with you. How can they do it?
Well, you can check out, it's called TCP Network, and all of our shows are either pre-recorded or live on Facebook. So you can look us up, TCP Network on Facebook. We have podcasts on almost every day of the week, and we also have a radio show. So we're pretty easy to find. TCP Network, the Cultured Professional on Facebook. Look us up. And tune in. We have a variety of shows for different people, different situations. My show is called The Antidote. It comes on every Monday at 7 p.m. We would love for the viewers in London and all over the world to tune in. We're constantly going over things that are going on in the world, and like I said, we're taking media. We're taking control of the media so that we're no longer looked at in a negative light.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you very much for helping us as well understand that we are living in seasons, the life seasons, but in every season there is a solution. In every season, we are the solution, aren't we?
Right.
In each season, we have created a new culture.
Right.
So that we're able to.
That's the plan, brother. That is the plan. Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. So any final messages to take away for our viewers tonight before we end the show?
Well, in every situation in life, you have to be able to adapt and react. Adapt to the situation, take the best out of it, and not allow anxiety, depression, or any other tool that the enemy uses to keep us down to affect you. No matter how bleak, no matter how bad the situation looks, always remember that count all things joy, and that God's glory will be revealed in the end of the situation. So, like I tell the viewers on my show at the end of every show, quitting is not an option, guys.
Quitting is not an option.
Right.
Thank you so much. And it's been great hosting you. I know you're very busy, and hence the timing of this show, very busy. And thank you very much for giving us your time. And we look forward to seeing you on the Cultured Professional Network, TPC Network on Facebook. You can catch up with Dr. Johnny Vega live from Lancaster.
Yes.
In
Amish country.
there you go. Thank you so much, and have a great
day.
Thank you. Thanks so much for our viewers. It's been Dr. Patrick Businge on Greatness TV with Clyde Rivers, who just left us, and interesting and amazing host, amazing guest, Dr. Johnny Vega. Thank you.